All right, hello and good morning, everyone. My computer is finally out of the shop, so it should be working. So here we are. We are streaming again with everything working. It sounds like my sound is working. We can play some Helldivers, and we are going to get this done. So we need to destroy a ton of automatons, a ton of Terminids, and a ton of Illuminate. Looks like the Illuminate are the ones who are being ignored the most, so let's help out our buddies and take out some Illuminate today. How about that? Good morning, everyone. I am kind of out of it, honestly. I was in some deep sleep right before my alarm went off, so still a little woozily, still waking up to it. So I'm trying. I'll get there. Give me just a little bit to fully wake up. Do tell me if you can hear my PC. So my PC was in the shop because apparently my water cooler radiator broke and I had to replace it with some air cooling. Now here's the problem. I don't know anything about computers. I use my computer as a tool to play games and to stream, and that's about it. So I don't really know a whole lot about computers. So the guy who got my computer, who fixed it, said that he recommended I use this air cooling rather than water cooling. He said it's a way bigger air cooler than even my water cooler, and that it will be more than sufficient. So I said, you know what? You're the expert. I'm paying you because I couldn't fix this myself. So whatever you recommend, go for it. So it's a little bit louder than the water cooling. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that because I have like noise gates and things like that. But do tell me if you can hear the computer in the background because it's a little louder than I thought it was going to be. Hopefully that shouldn't be a problem, but hopefully I should have no more issues. My computer ran great yesterday. No locking up, no USBs randomly disconnecting, no blue screens every few minutes. So hopefully, for at least now, the problems are solved. Now, the reason why we're playing Helldivers today specifically is I need to get my good level back up at this game. It's been a while since I've been able to play because we got challenged to do a special challenge run where we need to do an invisible run, pacifist run of Helldivers where we beat the game without firing a single bullet or using a single stratagem. And that sounds pretty hard, pretty undoable. And because it sounds hard and undoable, it sounds like the perfect challenge to do. So we are getting our skill level up to be able to do that in honor of the ODST Hell Warbond we're going to have coming out here soon. That is going to have some extra level of sneakiness put on it. And that's what the whole conversation started because people are like, well, stealth doesn't work that well. Well, let's find out. Will the stealth work very well? Let's find out. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. It's always a pleasure to meet you all. And we are going to have a good day. This is a good start to our Friday. I can feel it. Let's gas these guys a little bit. My gas missed. That's wonderful. My turret's trying to take me out. Everything's trying to take me out. We also have so much to talk about today. So we got some story times. I've missed streaming for a couple days now. So now that I can stream again, we are back at a point where we can tell some stories and have a good time. We also have potentially a Dungeons and Dragons game today. The local game store is opening its doors for the first time, and to celebrate, they pulled together a bunch of community dungeon masters and are saying, hey, you can come play D&D at our store if you want to celebrate us opening. And there's actually a guy there who makes his own games, who's playing his own game that he published, which kind of sounds awesome and fun. So I'm thinking about maybe going and doing that. I don't know, local game stores, especially like Warhammer and Magic the Gathering, all that, you know, there's negative stereotypes about those places for a reason. However, they do have they have one of those like 55-inch touch screen what do you call them, like play places, so you can use the giant touch screen as a battle map for Dungeons and Dragons, and that sounds pretty awesome. So I really want to run a D&D game there just to experience that. I've never gotten to play on one of those before, and that sounds like an absolute blast. So I am kind of hyped to try that out, if nothing else. So I'm trying to put together a game so that we can try out that battle map computer thing, because that just sounds really awesome. I probably should have used grenades for this. I should have just used my grenade. That would have been smarter. So we're just going to use a grenade. Here we go. That's much better. Okay, we're not wasting ammo. So yeah, I'm really excited to try out that giant touchscreen PC. They've always looked cool. I've never been able to afford one myself to throw in my house, so I'm going to put together a game to do that. I actually have a few local people who said they would be interested in Helldivers. Ryan, good morning, Ryan. Ryan, I need you to do me a favor. Since you're the first person in here, first person chatting, my computer just got out of the shop, and this is my first stream with hopefully my computer fixed. So I need you to tell me if anything is broken, if the sound doesn't sound right, if something's not going right. I need you to tell me, because my computer's been in the shop, so all of my settings got messed up, all of my stuff is different. So if something's not working, I need you to tell me, because I have no way of knowing. This is my first stream since the unbreaking of my PC. But I found a couple people local who are interested in playing. This is the dumbest idea I've ever had for a D&D game, which is how I know that it'll be a lot of fun, is I want to do the Helldivers invade Faerun. Like, you're playing in the Dungeons & Dragons setting, the world of Dungeons & Dragons, and the Helldivers are coming and invading the Dungeons & Dragons world. I thought that would be an absolutely bonkers idea for playing a D&D game, like going around and just imagine Baldur's Gate, but you're actually like sieging Baldur's Gate. I thought that would be super fun. So that's what I want to convince a bunch of people to come play, is Dungeons & Dragons, but you're destroying the D&D world rather than saving it. Chaotic Evil campaign, depending on who you're talking to, right? The Helldivers would not think that they're chaotic evil, but I understand how everyone else might think that. I disagree with that. I disagree that blew me up. I think I shot first, but okay. Good morning, everyone. That is our protein shake coffee. Can I turn up the sound? The sound of the game or the sound of me? Which one? Alright, my stuff's pretty far away. I don't think we're gonna be able to go get that. Let's grab that. The game sound. Alright, let's adjust that a little bit. Alright, how about that? Call of Duty is better. Call of Duty is better at certain things. I like the Call of Duty Warzone. I definitely like the Battle Royale mode. I'm a big fan of Battle Royales, so I like the Battle Royale mode in Call of Duty. But I feel like Call of Duty has definitely lost the plot when you have like Beavis and Butthead fighting Nicki Minaj, fighting Snoop Dogg. Like, it really takes me out of the game. And that's something I super appreciate about the Helldivers community, who's been very much like, let's not do crossovers, or if you're going to do crossovers, I want to make sure you're doing things that make sense thematically and fit in the world. I know people are really hyped for this Halo ODST crossover, which I am too, but I'm not. Here's the thing. I never actually played I've never played Halo ODST, so I don't know why people are so hyped specifically for the ODST bundle coming out. So I'm thinking maybe I need to play ODST before the War Bond comes out and experience it, because people are telling me how great ODST is and how many good memories they have of it and how cool it was. So maybe it's time to go back to ODST. I never played it, so I would love to go try it out and see what people see in it, because I missed out on it. Like, I played Halo 2 when it came out, and that was it. That was my only experience with Halo. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan. I'm not happy Xbox players. Why aren't you happy about Xbox players coming? It's going to be awesome. We're going to have extra players, extra reinforcements. Like, I think it's a good thing for the community. I can't think of anything wrong with Xbox players coming. Always happy when we get extra reinforcements, especially since our current mission requires us to kill so many billions of things. There's no way we're gonna beat I'm pretty sure that's the whole point too. Like, there's no way we're gonna be able to take out all these billions of enemies, and it's gonna be, oh no, we're failing this war bond because we can't get enough enemies killed. Here you go. Here's some reinforcements so that next time we can get it. Xbox players are annoying. I haven't played on Xbox in a long time, so I can't confirm or deny that. I do know, like, Call of Duty lobbies, for example, are pretty awful. But I don't think that's just an Xbox thing. I think that's just an online thing. Do you play Fortnite? I have played Fortnite here and there a little bit. I'm not particularly good at it, but I do enjoy Fortnite every now and then. It is something I pop into every now and then. I want to, I just saw that there's actually a Fortnite skin coming out that I wanted to play as. I can't remember what it was, but I saw a Fortnite skin. I was like, that'll be fun to play as. I know the Hank Hill skins were a lot of fun. Everyone was playing when the Hank Hill revival came out. Everyone was playing as Hank Hill and having fun with that. So, okay, that was completely unfair. I thought I could run through that alley, and the game, like, I don't know if that was a glitch or if it was I'm not actually allowed to run through that alley, but I call shenanigans on that death as well, because I clearly would not have been hurt if I ran through that alley. The game lied to me. You like the soccer skins? I don't know anything about soccer, so I haven't seen any soccer skins. So I have no idea on that. I don't mind the skins in Fortnite because that's what the game is. But when you have like Battlefield 6 just did their big beta for come and play Battlefield, come and learn about Battlefield. And one of the promises that they're making is that the game will never be like Call of Duty, where they're going to fill it full of skins that don't make sense. That's the thing I don't like about the Call of Duty skins. Like, I don't mind skins. I don't mind getting to play as some silly things every now and then. What I do mind is when you're trying to sell your game as like, oh, we're an ultra-realistic military simulator shooter with Nicki Minaj in it. That's where I take the issue, is when when the skins start to impact the gameplay. Like, when Borderlands 4 comes out, if Borderlands has some silly skins, that's not going to bother me, because Borderlands has always been a silly game, right? Like, something silly in Borderlands isn't going to ruin the immersion because Borderlands has always been silly. The thing is, Call of Duty has not always been silly. Like, if you were around for the OG days, you know, Call of Duty took itself very seriously. When Call of Duty first came out, when Call of Duty was still like a World War II shooter, you know, it took itself pretty seriously. And so to see the game go from taking itself so seriously to what it is now feels like a massive downgrade from where it was and what it was. That's, I think, the problem that a lot of people, and I personally have with Call of Duty, is we remember what it was, and what it is now does not reflect that at all. When do I stream? I stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5 a.m. Pacific time is my stream times. I am a early morning streamer. I get in before any of the streamers are out here. Here's my philosophy. If I stream this early in the morning before all the other big streamers are up, then you have no choice but to watch me, because there's no other streamers. So there's my business model, is I'm going to get in before anyone else is awake, and that will give me an advantage. So I am your early morning choice. And we stream some Helldivers, although the next few weeks are spoken for, because as much as I love Helldivers, Goofy, good morning. We're going to play Helldivers when the new Warbond comes out. We're going to play the Halo Warbond, of course. And then we are going to be playing Metal Gear Solid Delta when that comes out, because Metal Gear Solid Delta by far, Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, so we're definitely going to play that when that comes out. And then we're almost immediately going to be pivoting once I beat that into Borderlands 4, because I'm super hyped for that. And then there's another game that I just saw a demo for that looks really ridiculous that I want to play. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's called Blade Storm, I think. It is a Beyblade roguelike simulator. And while I've never played Beyblades, that sounds just ridiculous enough to be fun. So we're going to be playing that. And then I want to finish. I tried the Prince of Persia just had a roguelike game come out, Rogue Prince of Persia. And I'll be darned if that game isn't an absolute blast. They absolutely killed it on the new Prince of Persia game. Like, it's been a while since I've enjoyed a Prince of Persia game. And this one just, the movement feels so good. The items feel so good. Everything about it just feels really good. So if you haven't tried it, it's on Game Pass. The new Prince of Persia roguelike game is actually pretty darn good. So I highly recommend you try that if you haven't gotten to try that one yet. I'm surprised how much I am enjoying that game. So the next few weeks are going to be very, very chaotic. We're going to have a lot of games to play and a lot of games to enjoy during that time. So we are going to be playing a lot of different things for a lot of different time here. James, good morning. COD has always been a big dumb action movie. We've taken it too serious for too long. I mean, I definitely do know that people do take the Call of Duty way too serious as well, but that's the people who play it like it's their living. Like, I understand if you're a Call of Duty streamer and it legitimately is like your living, I understand why you would take it seriously. But the other people who take like the skill-based matchmaking and their KDR as if like their life depended on it, that's never made sense to me. Like, I definitely don't understand the KDR obsession. But I do understand wanting to be good at a game, right? What is going on in the Federation? 8.5 billion. So my conspiracy theory is Super Earth has given us an impossible task to show us that we need reinforcements. So they're asking for us to take out these billions and billions and billions of enemies to show us we do not have enough Helldivers, and they are going to activate their super secret sect of Helldivers, and that's when they're going to bring in the Xbox divers to save our bacon when we realize we have no way to complete this mission. Do you think LeBron is the GOAT? I don't know if you asked this last time or if someone else did. I don't know sports or pop culture at all very well. Last time I got this question about do you think LeBron is the GOAT, I said that I thought statistically Larry Bird was probably better, and people did not like that answer. So this time I will say, sure, LeBron can be the GOAT, since I obviously don't know enough about basketball to make an educated decision on this. Jeffrey's on Xbox. Can't wait to play. Can't wait to have you. We are very excited for Xbox launch day. Very, very excited for that day coming up. Especially with the War Bond coming with it too. That's going to be an absolute blast. Larry Bird's a good pick. I think Larry Bird's a good pick. I don't know a whole lot about, like I said, I know almost nothing about basketball, but I do know Larry Bird was a pretty legendary troll. I've heard stories about him playing only left-handed just to mess with people, for example, and that he was a very, very big smack talker. He loved his smack talk. So I don't know a lot about Larry Bird, but I've heard a lot of stories about Larry Bird. So ODST has been rebranded as the Obedient Democracy Support Troopers, and sort of unique kind of Helldivers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're giving us a lore build up for the reason why they're going to launch the new Helldivers coming in. Honestly, so I know a lot of people are hyped for the War Bond, and that's because of Halo. Here's the thing is I don't want to, as Dex put it, stop yucking people's yums. I know that I tend to be a little bit more on the negative side. The thing is that I don't think this war bond is going to be very used. Like, as I've talked about a million times, the crossbow and the eruptor are so powerful that there's basically no reason to ever use any other weapon because they are just that good. So the war bond is introducing a bunch of weapons that will probably never be used because after everyone memes with them and plays 1 or 2 games, they're going to go back to using their eruptors and crossbows because they're just too good. There's no stratagems in it. So there's a booster which does stealth, which most people don't play stealth, so we're not going to be using the stealth all that much. So if we're not going to be using the weapons and we're not going to be using the booster, the most we'll really use is, I mean, there's armor, but even that, like, it's not even going to be the best armor. So, like, I think that people are going to play around with it for a day or two, really enjoy, like, the Halo vibes. But I think very quickly, people are going to realize that nothing in this war bond is meta. And so we're just not going to see a whole lot of usage out of it, honestly. Can't wait for them to add new Mombasa as a mega city. Is that, I thought Gun was the name of the new mega city that we got. Did they veto that? Did they remove the mega city Gun? I hope they did. Gun was a stupid name. I know the internet voted for it, but the internet doesn't always make the best decisions, you know? All right, let's get out of here. We got our objective. Let's drop some gas on these guys. Boom. So yeah, I think the Halo stuff will be really exciting for people who like Halo. I think they'll play with it for a few minutes, and then they'll very quickly realize that, oh, this isn't as good as the Eruptor, and then we will stop using it. And I don't understand why we didn't get some of the stuff from Halo that would have fit so perfectly. Like, Halo had the Scarab gun, right? The Scarab gun was like a secret weapon you could unlock in Halo. Like, why aren't we getting the Scarab gun? That would be super cool to unlock. Or even like I think the rocket launcher could have a place from Halo. That's pretty legendary. So I think they could have added some stratagems, and maybe they still will. Add Master Chief. You know, I wouldn't mind. We were just talking about how we want to make sure that everything that they add is appropriate to the game. So I would not mind them adding Master Chief to the game if it was pitched as like, this is a super suit. This is like armor that you can call in like a mech that gives you temporary enhancements. If they did something like that, I think I would be okay with adding Halo guy's armor if it was specifically like just an enhancement for a temporary point of time. It's Arrowhead's fault you're going for meta. I've come to realize that every Warbonds item has a place. See, people tell me that a lot, and I agree. Not everyone has to play by the meta. If you have fun playing other ways, definitely do play those ways. But the thing is that like that you can only use one gun at a time, right? So even if every gun has its place, you still can only use one gun at a time. So when they add all these hundreds of guns, you're not going to be able to use them all anyways, because you can only use one at a time as it is. So like, I wish that we would get more stratagems rather than guns, because there's only so many guns you can use. I don't understand the love for Master Chief, but again, that's because I didn't really play Halo all that much. Like, I played Halo 1 and 2 when they came out, and that was basically it. That's when I dropped off of Halo. So Master Chief has never been like high on my list of like, oh, he's one of my favorite characters, but I understand why people like him and why people would want more Master Chief in their game. But you know, like I said, I was never super into the Halo craze, so I missed out on that one. What I did do though, so my computer's been busted for the last week, so I couldn't play any of my PC games. So I went back to my retro PS3 and I was enjoying some PS3 games. And I picked up Army of Two, and it's been a long time since I played Army of Two. Army of Two is very clearly like a dumb action movie, but man, was that a fun game. We need a remake of, or the next version of Army of Two, a split-screen co-op shooter game that's just absolute bonkers action and fun. I loved it. Or I forgot how much fun Army of Two was. Yes, the writing is not great. The gameplay was nothing special. It was just another cover shooter like Gears of War. Like, nothing about it was super revolutionary, but it was fun. And sometimes that's all that matters, right? Sometimes all you want out of a game is for the game to just be fun. And that's what it was, just mindless, good fun. So Gamescom is going on right now. If you haven't seen, we've been getting a lot of great game announcements. I was super hyped. They had an announcement for Splinter Cell. I was like, oh, we're getting a new Splinter Cell. It's been forever. Splinter Cell was awesome back in the day. Sam Fisher, like, yes, give us more Splinter Cell. And then it comes out that it was actually like a Netflix TV series, which, okay, if we're getting a Netflix TV series, maybe that means that we will get another game here soon. But I cannot tell you the disappointment I felt when I thought we were getting a new Splinter Cell game, but it just turned out to be a Netflix series. That was a huge bummer. But some of the other game announcements have been, we got a new Cult of the Lamb coming, and I know as a Catholic content creator, I know that people are like, what, you play Cult of the Lamb? Cult of the Lamb was a ton of fun. Yes, it's got some weird over-the-top culty sort of things, but like, I don't take it seriously. So a new Cult of the Lamb I'm excited for. Hell Let Loose Vietnam. Hell Let Loose is on my GameFly list because I never played it, so I want to play the first one. And now that we have the Vietnam coming, I'm really, really excited to get to play that. So I'm really hyped to try out that game. Silk Song is all that matters. So I know this is the unpopular Waffles opinion, but I never enjoyed Hollow Knight. I really didn't like the first one, so I have zero hype for Hollow Knight. But I understand people have been waiting for the next Hollow Knight for ever and a half. So I'm not going to say it's going to be a bad game. I'm not going to say it's not going to be good. I'm certain it's going to be just as good as the first one for all the people who enjoyed Hollow Knight. But I don't understand the hype for Silk Song. I really don't know why everyone loves that so much. But I am excited people are finally getting it because I know people have been asking for it forever and a half. So I'm glad that people are getting what they want. The new Call of Duty trailer, I'm not so certain about it. It very much looks like they are leaning into the absurd. It looks like there's like going to be warping and telekinesis and superpowers and things like that. So I'm not really hyped for it. I'll probably play it, but that one was okay. The World of Warcraft trailer, I thought the World of Warcraft trailer was actually a little bit of a disappointment. Like, if you've seen some of World of Warcraft's trailers before, like they have some amazing trailers. Like, Blizzard puts out quality trailers. So the last trailer they put out, I don't think the quality was there, but I'm still kind of hyped for Midnight. I'm gonna play it, so I am kind of hyped for that still. So I don't know. I feel like the trailer was rushed and a little sloppy. You know what other game we need an announcement for? I know Gamescom's still going on, so I'm hoping we still get it. I want them to bring back Viva Pinata. I thought Viva Pinata was a perfect, silly, fun little cozy game, and now that cozy games are popular again, I would really love if we got Viva Pinata 3. I feel like that game never got the appropriate amount of love that it deserved. So I'm kind of hoping for a last minute secret announcement for Viva Pinata, but I highly doubt we'll actually get it. Don't mention Battlefield 6 here. Yes, I did. I made a review of Battlefield 6 talking about how unfun and terrible I thought the beta was. That was a vastly unpopular opinion, and the Battlefield community came out to tell me how much they hated my opinion. Here's the thing, though. If you spent any time on Reddit, which if you haven't, good for you, you should avoid Reddit. But if you're on the Reddit boards, I would say about half the people felt the same as me. I feel like the Battlefield community is really split because some people really loved the Battlefield beta. Other people really hated it. So I would say that it's split at the very least. Gold Rock, is this Helldivers with zombies. This is the new faction, the Illuminate. If you haven't played in a while, this is the new squid team from the original game that they finally added into the game. It happened around Christmas, so if you haven't played in a while, that's probably why you haven't seen them. But these are the squids. There's quite a few issues to be fixed, and that's part of my problems with it. It was Saint Strength TV. It was too fast. That's exactly what I felt. I felt like I was playing a Call of Duty clone, and Battlefield to me has never been a Call of Duty clone, but in fairness, I realize part of the way my opinion is wrong and why my opinion is coming from a different place is the last Battlefield I played was Battlefield 1942, the OG, the original. So when I went into Battlefield 6, I was expecting Battlefield 1942, but with better graphics and, modernization. And it wasn't that. So I think that was part of my problem, was my expectations were that was the Battlefield I played and loved, was 1942. And I realize now when I looked it up, Battlefield 1942 was like 23 years ago. So I've been out of the Battlefield scene for maybe a little too long. So maybe my opinions are wrong on it, because I'm looking at it as a very, very old school gamer who enjoyed playing against bots in the first one when I was like 10 with my father. So maybe my Battlefield opinions are out of date. Mel, hello. Thank you. Thank you. It is so good to have my PC back. I am so glad for all of those of you who were wondering on pins and needles. It was my radiator. My water cooling radiator broke, and so my computer was overheating because it had no cooling. So that is why it was constantly blue screening and breaking, was because it had no cooling system. So I had to have a new cooling system installed. Walker, thank you so much for the sub. Your PC sounds like a car. Can you hear my PC in the background? I need to, now that I have the air cooling, I need to mess with the noise gating, because it's a little bit louder than I thought it would be, and I don't know how loud it's going to be when it actually gets up to heat. So I need to mess with settings. Oh, it's just a PC. Yeah, PCs have radiators now. What world we live in? In other words, my psychology project is a great success. Great to hear. Congratulations. Walker W name. Okay, so since you're new here, the reason I chose the name Saint Waffles, since we have a lot of people watching, I figure I'll go over it. So I chose the name Saint Waffles not because I am so egotistical to think that I am a saint. I am, of course, not a saint. However, I wanted to choose a name that would remind me in all that I do that my goal is to become a saint. My goal is to get to heaven and to bring everyone with me. And so having the name Saint Waffles helps to remind me to, in all of my interactions and all that I do, is to point people towards God, and to make sure that when I'm making comments, when I'm leaving comments, when I'm making videos, when I'm doing all these things, that I need to lead people towards Christ. So that is why I chose Saint Waffles as a name, as a reminder and something to live up to, not that I am a saint. I am Catholic. So yes, I am a Christian, but I know there's the designation Christian Catholic. Since we're talking about this, I will give an update too. So starting on August 15th or 16th, I can't remember which day it was now, was the Assumption of Mary for Catholics, which is a holy day of obligation, a big day. And people were starting what they call St. Michael's Lent during it, which is a second Lent to give something up. Sorry, my cat's stuck. Give me 1 second. You okay, buddy? My cat got his claw stuck in my chair. There we go. Okay, so people started St. Michael's Lent to give something up for the Assumption of Mary. And this year I decided to go with a very hard thing that I thought would be wonderful to try. I am trying a 40-day fast. Now, I'm not doing no food for 40 days because obviously I am not Jesus. I will not be able to survive 40 days without food. But I have severely limited my calorie intake, and I'm trying to fast for 40 days for this Lent. And I will say, as an update, we are officially 1 week into the fast, and I did fail on one day. On last Wednesday, I couldn't sleep because I was so hungry and I felt like woozy and I felt like I was going to puke, and I knew that I did the math and I was about 6,000 calories in a 6,000 calorie deficit. So I was like, okay, this is becoming unhealthy. So I took a break from the fasting that day and got some extra. I got some extra calories in me that day, and then I'm back onto the regular fast now. So in the 7 days of fasting, I've had 6 days of fasting and 1 day of normal eating. It's still a success in my book, but I do consider it a failure also, that I was trying to go all 40 days and my body just could not take it. I physically could not take it. I felt like I was going to throw up. So I decided to listen to my body and eat on that day, and we're back on it. We are going to do my official weigh-in tomorrow. Last weigh-in that I did a check, I've gone down about 5 pounds, which makes sense with some water weight and just cutting that many calories. So this is Helldivers. This is Helldivers 2 on the Illuminate war front. We have to kill billions and billions of enemies. So we are helping out with the Illuminate front, since the Illuminate is the farthest behind right now. Keeping strong with fasting. I've also done fitness side of things, gained a bit too much weight recently. Well, that's the thing. So weight loss, I say this all the time with like Christianity, being a Catholic, every day is a constant reorientation towards Christ. Some days we need a lot of reorientation. Some days we only need a little bit of reorientation, but it's not a one and done thing. You're never done with Christianity. You're always improving. It's the same thing for weight loss, right? It's the same exact thing. You're never done with weight loss. It's a lifestyle. It's not a one and done thing. Some days you need a lot of help. Some days you need a little bit of help. You know, fasting is not just about food and diet, and failing doesn't really matter. It's more about your connection and relationship with God and praying in those hard times. Definitely. Fasting has a ton of benefits. I'm doing it partially for health because I need to lose some weight. I'm also doing it to grow closer to God. The main inspiration for the fast, though, was there are people around the world who are currently starving to death. There's especially one area where there's a lot of people who are starving. But there's also people in my own community who are going without food. And I put on the fast because I want to better understand what those people are going through when they are going through food insecurity and going through starvation and going through the inability to access food. So the fast is supposed to help me grow in empathy, grow closer to God, lose a little bit of weight, but also understand the struggles of our own brothers and sisters in Christ, our own neighbors who are currently starving. So I understand that whether or not I actually get through the 40-day fast or not doesn't matter in the end. But you know, it's one of those things that when I set a goal, I like to try and meet it, and I want to meet the goal. So it's important for me to keep that mindset of like, I really need to push towards this goal, especially with fasting. The reason why I like fasting so much is because you're telling your body no to something that you need, right? Like, undeniably, you need food. So when you learn to tell your body no to something you do need, you get better at saying no to things you don't need, like sin. So I really like to stay strong on it because I want to learn that self-control to be able to tell my body, no, you don't need this. And that's perfect to practice with food because you need food. So telling your body, no, I don't need food right now, helps you to say no to those other things. I am still getting a couple protein shakes in a day, though. They're just about 100 calories just to make sure I'm getting vitamins and protein in, simply because I don't want this to be an unhealthy thing where I destroy my body. So we are trying to do this mindfully. How's it going, Waffles? Jonathan, I have been doing good. The fasting, we were just talking about the fasting. I had 1 day of weakness where I felt like I was going to throw up, so I ate fully 1 day. So we have 6 days of fasting and 1 day of normalcy so far. So still doing pretty good on the fasting. We've lost about 5 or 6 pounds. I'm hoping next week when I go to the doctor at my official weigh-in, I will be in the 260 range, which I know that's still high. There's still work to do. Still got to lose some weight, but that will be the lowest weight I've been at in decades. So we're hoping the doctor weigh-in is good. Nightwing, just discovered this channel via YouTube Shorts. Love the vibes. Can't wait to see more. Thank you. Always appreciate having you here. That is what I try very hard to keep, is the vibes. So that is what we are going for, is a nice, chill, good way to start your Friday. I get Fridays off. I don't like to brag about it because I know the rest of y'all got to go to work. But I got to tell you, if you can manage it, getting Fridays off and working a 4-10 schedule, like only 4 days a week, is such a huge improvement to your life. If your work offers it, do look into 4-10s because it is so much better than working 5 days a week. Y'all use the silly system, right? I'm trying to go from 192 to 177. That seems doable, but that's tough. The less you weigh, the harder it is, right? Once you're in the 100s, it's way harder. I was starting from the 400s, so it was way easier for me to lose. Like when I stopped drinking soda, boom, that's just like 20 pounds right there, because when you weigh that much, you only have to cut a little bit of calories. Once you're in the 100s, it's a lot harder to actually start losing weight because, well, you actually have to be firm on the calorie counting, you know? Let's see here. Let's grab a machine gun. No, we want the machine gun. Yeah, there we go. Let's grab that. Still doing great. Keep at it, brother. Been looking forward to your live since. That's wonderful, Jonathan. My computer broke, so that's why I haven't been live the last few days. Was my computer just completely broke. So we're back at it, and we should be back to normal. The official weight, I'm pretty sure it was 440. I went from 440 and I'm 275 right now. So definitely a lot of hard work, and we're making it, but I've still got a little bit to go. Here's how I know, maybe this is the wrong way to look at it. Here's how I know I'll hit the right weight. I know that I'll be the appropriate weight when I go live or when I make a short and I don't get random comments that call me fat anymore. When the random internet trolls no longer feel the need to point out that I'm fat, I think I will have lost enough weight. So reduce fat and build some muscle. Yes, I would like to build some muscle too. I am in no means, I'm not an expert on physiology, body, or anything like that. But one of my greatest fears is becoming diabetic. And I have heard that having a strong amount of muscles, the muscles really help to regulate insulin in the body, and that helps to prevent becoming diabetic. So that is definitely one of my goals, is to also build up some muscle to prevent diabetes. The problem is I had a massive hernia, the largest hernia the doctor had ever seen, and because of that massive hernia, I am permanently disabled and I cannot lift more than 10 pounds. I guess I should not lift more than 10 pounds at risk of reopening the giant hernia. So unfortunately, it's very hard for me to build muscle because I cannot lift very much weight. So I can do low weight, lots of repetition, but I will never be an Olympic level bodybuilder. It is simply impossible for me to lift enough to ever have meaningful muscle. But as long as I can be healthy, I guess ultimately that's all that matters. The hernia was embarrassing and painful, and if you want a real life Saint Waffles simulator, if you want to know what it was like to be Saint Waffles with my horrible hernia, you cut out sugar. Yes, I cut out all sugar. I do not eat sugar. I do eat sugar substitutes, 0 calorie, no sugar substitutes occasionally, but no, I do not do sugar anymore. If you want the Saint Waffles simulator to know how bad my hernia was and what it was like to live with that, you want to walk a mile in Saint Waffles shoes, go to your store and buy yourself a grapefruit and put the grapefruit down your pants and feel how awkward, weird, and awful that is. And that is the Saint Waffles simulator. That is how large my hernia was. It was the size of a grapefruit. So it was huge and painful and embarrassing. And I'm so glad to have finally gotten it fixed. But try it for a day. Just try walking out in public with a grapefruit in your pants and all the awkward stares you'll get. The way you have to walk, the way you have to, like when people get pregnant, you know, they have to walk differently because they're accommodating all that extra weight in a certain area and it's changing their body. Give it a try for a day. It was awful. From 10th to 12th grade, I used to do MMA fighting, but stopped after graduating. Oh man, I know MMA fighting is back in the news right now because people are getting tired that a lot of MMA fighting seems to be people just like hugging each other and just like getting in the clinch and punching each other. But I do like the MMA fights a lot. I am a big fan of MMA fighting. But I understand that some of it's boring. I'm going back to wrestling. I know that wrestling is fake, but wrestling is fun. I like wrestling, so I'm just going to enjoy me some wrestling. Some good old-fashioned wrestling. I've been through multiple kinds of medical pains, but hernias do not sound fun. I can definitely confirm hernias are not fun in any way, shape, or form. It was definitely one of the hardest things to go through. Next week, we have Metal Gear Solid Delta coming out. You can put on good muscle mass by controlling your protein levels and hormones. Basically, load up on protein, a whole lot of chicken rice and broccoli-style meals and protein powder. Here's what makes that harder. I am also a vegetarian. Last Lent, I gave up meat for Lent, and I actually loved being a vegetarian so much that I am now a full-time vegetarian. So no chicken and rice for me. I'll do tofu and rice. But I have been a mostly full-time vegetarian for over a year now, I think. Yeah, over a year. So I'm not going to look down on anyone who's not a vegetarian. I'm not one of those judgy kinds of vegetarians. But Lent really helped to open my eyes to how much, like, when I first thought about becoming a vegetarian, it sounded like an impossible task to me. I was like, there's no way I can be a vegetarian. That sounds too hard. And when I tried it, I was like, this isn't so bad. And if I can lesser the suffering of animals that are treated so poorly on farms by not participating in this system, then I think that is good for me and my relationship with God. So let's do it. And I decided to become a full-time vegetarian. So consider the testosterone. I would consider testosterone if it didn't come via needles. I would also have to talk to a doctor about it. As a Catholic, when there's certain medical procedures that come up, there are certain rules and such that come in play with that. And I believe testosterone for vanity would be a sinful action, but testosterone for health reasons would not. So it would depend on if I actually needed testosterone to be healthy, or if I needed it to have muscles and feel better, if that makes sense. Dex is here. Wrestling is not fake; it is predetermined. I do think that is a better way to put it. Like, even if it is predetermined, you can't fake the athleticism, right? Like, the ability of these wrestlers to throw themselves around like they're nothing is a huge feat of athleticism. The way they run and jump, the way they act, those are all beautiful pieces of stage play, stagecraft, athleticism. That's not fake. You can't fake that. It may have a predetermined outcome, but it still requires a whole lot of skill and ability. So you are right, Dex. Predetermined is a better way to put it than fake. Peaches and cream. I do remember whenever someone talks about peaches and cream and like weight loss or weight gain or anything like that, I think of that old episode of Ed, and Eddie where they want Jimmy to become a sumo wrestler. So they force him to eat peaches and cream for days and days and days until he becomes a 400-pound sumo wrestler. That's all I can think of with peaches and cream. I miss Ed, and Eddie. Ed, and Eddie was a great Cartoon Network show. They should bring that one back. That one and Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo was absolutely an amazing show, and I would love to see more Johnny Bravo. Calvinism WWE. In fact, I partially think that's why I like All Might so much. Like, I love My Hero Academia, and I'm a huge fanboy of All Might. And I'm pretty sure part of the reason I love All Might so much is All Might is just basically Japanese Johnny Bravo, right? Like, the way Johnny Bravo and All Might look similar is just perfect. I'm sad that My Hero Academia is coming to an end. I'm so excited for the final season to come out, though. I'm so excited to see the end of My Hero Academia. It is going to be a good and fitting end, hopefully. And then it'll be time for... we just got the poster for Blue Eye Samurai. Blue Eye Samurai Season 2 is coming soon, according to Netflix. And if you haven't watched that... Blue Eyes Samurai is an absolutely stunning, amazing anime. Parental warning, there is some nudity, there's a lot of gore, a lot of violence, a lot of mature topics. Like, it is not an anime for kids, but Blue Eyes Samurai is pretty incredible. Definitely worth a watch. Oh, I just got landed on. Most Indians don't eat meat every day. I definitely think that is probably something Americans could do a little bit less with, is eating meat every single day. Probably find some more better vegetarian recipes, but I understand meat is good. That is why people eat meat every day. Do I have beginner advice for Helldivers? Oh boy, do I have a lot of beginner advice. If you want... If you want my full set of advice, I of course make videos for Helldivers, and I got a new video up for Helldivers, specifically for Xbox Helldivers, on my channel. My number one piece of advice, before I give any other advice, my number one piece of advice for new Helldivers coming in on Xbox is, and it's going to be ironic, is don't get advice. Don't look up how to be the best of the game. Don't look up all the tips and tricks. Don't look up the meta. The best way, like, if you want the authentic Helldivers 2 experience, the absolute best way to experience Helldivers is to go in completely blind and just be decimated by the game, to be overwhelmed and confused, to not know what's going on, to be getting blown up left and right. That is the quintessential Helldivers 2 experience. So if you want the really real experience, that is the way to experience it. That being said, if you want actual advice, Goofy Team has the number one set of advice, which is, you'll see when you go here to the acquisition screen, you'll see there's a bunch of war bonds. Excuse me. There's a ton of war bonds, and they usually themed. So, like, this is fire themed, this is gas themed, this is truth themed, force of law. There's a ton of these. These never go away, so you don't need to come in and buy all these at once. However, the absolute undisputed champion is Democratic Detonation. So if you want to buy a war bond to work towards first, Democratic Detonation is the best war bond, hands down. So definitely get that one first if you feel like you need to buy a war bond. Like, it is without a doubt the best war bond. So I highly recommend that one. If you want it, again, you don't need it. I've done multiple level 10s where I have shown that you can beat the game with just the basic stuff that you start with, just the starter gear. All of that is just fancy extras for having fun. That's all it is. So if you want the extra fun of that, get the Democratic Detonations first. It is so good. I also highly recommend, you have to forget most of all of your video game knowledge. A lot of, like, your old school video game knowledge is not going to help you in this game. The number one thing is that your kill count does not matter in the end. The amount of enemies you take down does not matter. All that matters is the objective gets completed. So a lot of people come into it with this mentality of, oh, I'm just going to take out all the enemies. It's helpful sometimes, but the enemies infinitely spawn. So having a high kill count doesn't matter. What matters is taking down the objectives. So you got to change your mind on that, oh, I'm not just going for video game kills, I'm going for objectives. That's one of the big changes The other big thing you're going to have to adjust to is friendly fire is always on. You will, on accident, blow up your teammate, and you will, on accident, be blown up by your teammate multiple times. Don't take it personally. It's going to happen. And it's going to be fun. It sounds ridiculous, but it truly is. It is fun, but it's going to happen. Do you have any mods installed? No, I have not played with mods. I know the mods are in a weird place for me because the devs have said that they don't care about mods, but I have also heard that there have been people who have been banned by like the anti-cheat for using mods, and they have said that if you are banned by the anti-cheat for using mods, they will not undo the ban. So use them at your own risk. And because I'm a Helldivers content creator, getting banned from Helldivers would be a massive blow to me, so I have not risked the mod scenes. Training for rookies, we're just talking about a couple tips. Leave your tips down in the comments down below. There's a ton of great tips. But like I said, honestly, my best tip is just to go into it blind and have some fun, because that's the whole point of games at the end of the day, right? The whole point is just to have fun. So as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. And Helldivers 2 is absolutely fun. So go in there, be confused, be lost, be overwhelmed, and you will enjoy the game a whole lot. I didn't know about the anti-cheat thing. I figured cosmetic mods wouldn't matter. They shouldn't matter, but they basically have made a statement that they are just washing their hands of it. So if you get caught, if something happens, if Sony does like a great purge or something, there is nothing they will do. I wish I could do mods. I have a dumb mod in my mind that I really want to make, that I would love to do someday, and that would be to make a mod so that when you use the orbital space laser, you can hear Goku in your comms doing the Kamehame, and then have a little Goku appear in the sky as the laser's going. I always thought that would be an absolutely stupid, silly, fun little mod. So I wish I could mod the game because I want my Goku mod, but I don't want to be banned. So I can live without my silly Goku mod. On the 26th, I'm going to run around in the Truth Commissar armor, training the recruits. You're going to see a lot of that, I think. I think you're going to get a lot of people on the 26th who are going to be diving on low levels and just giving new players, like, here, play with this toy, play with this weapon, play with this. I think it's going to be really great to see the community coming together for that. So I think you're going to see a lot of that, and I'm here for it. I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. Yours is a Miku beam. I like that. I love that. It's are you ready for the Miku beam? Ready? 1, 2, here we go. Miku me. That one? Yeah, I like that meme. I'm down for that. I just started watching Dragon Ball now, so I get that. Here's the thing. So I remember watching Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball was a fun anime when I was a kid. I don't think Dragon Ball Z is actually a good anime. I think Dragon Ball Z is a overrated anime. So I don't know that I would ever recommend anyone to actually go back and watch Dragon Ball Z. It's fun as a mindless, dumb action show, but I don't think it's that good of an anime. They did my boy Gohan dirty. Okay, I know I have to defend my opinion now. So here's my thesis. Here's why I don't think Dragon Ball is that good of an anime. Is that one, there's no stakes in the show. With every character constantly dying and being revived, there is no consequences in the show. That's problem number one. Problem number two is because they went so big so early, it feels like everything is the same, because it's oh no, Vegito is coming and he's going to destroy the town. We must stop him. Okay, we've stopped him. Now what? Oh no, now there's another alien who's even stronger who's coming to destroy the town. We must stop him. Okay, we stopped Freezer. What now? Oh no, there's another alien who's coming who wants to destroy the world. The stake is the same every single time, and that gets boring, right? Oh, it's yet another world-ending threat. They just go bigger and bigger every single time. So it gets boring after a while, Remember when Dragon Ball was about martial arts? It has not been about martial arts for a long, long time. Personally, I prefer Tito over Miku. I could not tell you who that is. I have no idea what you're saying. I am not that deep into that world, so I have no idea what you're saying. I don't know those characters. All right, let's go destroy this beam. It's messing with my brain. So, like World of Warcraft, I'll use World of Warcraft as an example. Warcraft has the same exact problem where they've had world-ending threats and they have to continually make each new expansion has to have a bigger and badder threat because it has to escalate. But at a certain point, you just can't escalate it anymore, right? Like, how many times can you have a world-ending threat who's going to destroy the world before it's just like, oh yeah, it's just another world-ending threat. You know, we've already dealt with that 50 times. Like, you can't raise the stakes that high and keep it interesting. So, Dragon Ball Z has an old school art style, and it's memorable, and it's definitely influential, but I've seen it. We've all seen the Dragon Ball art style. It's been done. It's like, there are so many anime that look so much better now. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was good for the time, and I definitely don't contest it was influential. Dragon Ball Z is one of the whole reasons we have anime in the West, is because that show and Sailor Moon were popular enough that executive finally said, you know what? Yeah, let's make some more anime because people actually like this. So thanks to Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon, we have anime in the West, but it's not good. It's influential, but not good. JoJo's looks better. I know you know how I feel about this, Dex, because I was already talking about it yesterday, but I think JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is both hideous to look at and a terrible anime. I definitely do not recommend JoJo's. And this is where people don't listen to my anime opinions, because I don't like JoJo's, I don't like Dragon Ball, I don't like One Piece. So basically people just learn to ignore my anime opinions because they feel like I just have absolutely horrible anime opinions. Me and you would be good friends. I couldn't get into JoJo's. When I was younger, I tried Dragon Ball, but I enjoyed Transformers and G.I. Joes. Okay, Transformers is good. I have no problem with Transformers, but I will tell you, Beast Wars was better in every way. Like, Optimus Prime turning into a truck, that's cool. Optimus Prime turning into a gorilla to fight a dinosaur, that is way cooler in every way, shape, or form. So, Transformers is cool. Beast Wars was way cooler. It's like that meme, like Daniel and then the cooler Daniel. That's what Transformers Beast Wars was. Transformers Beast Wars is just the cooler Transformers. I loved Beast Wars. I wish, like, the animation style does not hold up. Bro Ron, welcome. Thank you for the congrats. If you go and watch Beast Wars now, that old, like, janky CGI is so ugly. But at the time, it was good. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. It's also like Beast Wars is proof. This is going to be an absolutely insane sentence, but I'm going to say it. Thank you so much, Ben. Beast Wars proves. Take it easy, Abyss. Beast Wars proves that we did not fake the moon landing. And I know that is an absolutely bonkers sentence to say, but hear me out on this. Beast Wars was like the cutting edge CGI we had in the 90s, right? And that was in the 90s. So there's no way we could have made the moon landing look as good as it does with the CGI we had at the time when you look at how absolutely awful Beast Wars looks. So the awfulness of the original Beast Wars just proves that we landed on the moon. So there you go. There's your weird sentence of the day. It's absolutely absurd, but I love it. Also, speaking of conspiracies and moon landings and all that, I started watching Netflix put out a new drama called Zero Day. And I gotta say, it's actually pretty good. A lot of times, like, those political intrigue shows are kind of boring and stale, but if you need a political intrigue, Zero Day is actually a pretty good show. I'm enjoying it. It got so expensive, Hollywood said that the moon landing should be filmed on location. Have you ever played the Dark Souls trilogy? Jonathan, you are about to get yelled at by chat. Chat absolutely hates my opinions on Dark Souls. So let's talk about the Souls-like games. I have played Dark Souls. I do not like Dark Souls games at all. I am not a fan of Souls-like games in any way, shape, or form. See you later, Forrest. So I do not like those. However, if you enjoy watching people suffer, for Blessed Carlo Acutis being canonized as a saint, we are going to be playing Elden Ring on this channel. Despite me not liking or being good at Elden Ring, we are going to be playing Elden Ring on the day of his canonization. And for every death we have, we are going to owe Hail Marys and we are going to owe money to charities. So we are going to make it a charity event. So if you enjoy watching people struggle, coming up in September when Carlo Acutis is canonized, we are going to struggle through Elden Ring to raise money and Hail Marys for the cause. So I will be doing that. I also might be forced to play one more Souls-like, and that is Gamescom. They announced a game called Divine Comedy, which looks to be a Souls-like Dante's Inferno game. And if you played back in the day, Dante's Inferno on Xbox 360 was an absolute blast of a game. Theologically, it wasn't very good. You know, I definitely understand that stomping on unbaptized babies and seeing the Pope in hell, probably not good theology. But it was a great and fun game. So they're making another game based on Dante's Inferno, and we're going to play that for sure. So, hello, Bubble. I look forward to seeing you play Elden Ring. The PC does live. See, people say that the lore in the games is amazing. I don't really feel like Dark Souls has all that much lore. I kind of feel like, especially since they had that contest for people to be able to like make up the lore or tell what the story was, I kind of feel like there's no actual lore in the game and that they're just kind of just making it up as they go. So I'm not so sure about the lore. But yes, a Dante's Inferno style game is coming out soon, according to Gamescom. So that is going to be a lot of fun. Have you heard of or tried Star Citizen? Yes, I have heard of Star Citizen. Oh, no, get out of the truck. Get out of the truck. So I've wanted to play Star Citizen, but I'm not convinced that it's not just a giant scam. Like, it's been in early access for what, like 15 years, and they've raised billions of dollars, and they still just barely have like a playable demo. So I want to play Star Citizen, but I'm fairly certain that it's a scam. Bro, thank you for hanging out. We'll see you next time. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for dropping by. What's with the canonization of Elden Ring? So what we were talking about is in September, the first, quote, gamer saint is being canonized. Carlo Acutis is being canonized as a saint. So for his being sainted, we are going to play Elden Ring. And for every death we have, we are going to owe $1 to charity, and we're going to owe 5 Hail Marys. So by the end of the all-day stream for that, we are going to owe probably at least $1,000 to charity and probably a couple thousand Hail Marys. So we are doing that for the canonization of Carlo Acutis. Who is Carlo Acutis? Carlo Acutis is a teenager who passed away in Italy, who very famously, he enjoyed video games, but he enjoyed God more than video games, and he believed that the internet could be used to help draw people closer to God. And so he put together a huge list of Eucharistic miracles to help draw people closer to God. And while he did this, he limited how much he played video games to only an hour a day so he could still have fun playing video games, but he wanted to make sure first and foremost he was drawing people towards God. And he passed away due to, I believe, cancer not long ago. And so he then was put up for canonization. They have confirmed some miracles and have decided to officially Saint Carlo Acutis for his work in showing people a balance between video games and God and all of that. And so he is colloquially known as the video gamer saint because that's what he's associated with. And so obviously a lot of Catholic influencers are very hyped for Carlo Acutis and Gamer Saint. And so because he's being canonized and a lot of his stuff has to deal with the video games, I am going to be doing an all-day stream that day, playing games, and every time we die, we are going to donate money to his charity in honor of Blessed Carlo Acutis. Pray for us. It really is an amazing thing. And the thing I love most about Carlo Acutis. So this is a common misconception I feel like we're going to be battling forever and ever and ever. When you hear about saints and the Catholic Church, everyone always thinks like, oh, they're these hoity-toity, super people who I could never be a saint because it requires so much sacrifice. You have to be so great and you have to do all these great things. No, you too can be a saint. Sometimes looking at like Saint Teresa of Thoreau or Lisieux, Saint Teresa of Lisieux or Carlo Acutis, sometimes it's the little way. It's the little devotion to God. All that saint means is that you are a person who made it to heaven. You don't have to do great things to make it to heaven. You don't have to live a celebrity life. You don't have to be super well known. You don't have to be super famous. You just have to live a life that is pleasing to God. And I think that Carlo Acutis helps to embody that saints aren't just these ancient people in robes sitting around doing theology. They're you and me. They drink Coca-Cola. They watch horror movies. They wear blue jeans. The saints don't have to be these out-of-reach, impossible figures. The saints can be you and I. And so I think Carlo Acutis really helps to exemplify you can make it as a saint just being a good, loving person of God who lives an average life that is pleasing to God. So that is what I love most about Carlo Acutis and why I want to do something special for his canonization, is because I truly believe in that message of that the sainthood isn't this unobtainable thing, that you or I can be saints by living a modest, humble, and pleasing life. So that is why I like Carlo Acutis so much. Dex, can you hit that comment for me, please? Or are you at work and unavailable right now? Dex might be unavailable. We finally have enough viewers that it's time to go on a mod hunt and get some more mods for the stream. Never thought I would need mods, but here we are. We're actually doing it. I got it, bub. Bubbles, bub. I'm not Wolverine. I don't call people bub. Speaking of Wolverine, though, Deadpool and Wolverine are in the news once more because their new comic has furry Deadpool and furry Wolverine. Wolverine's actually a Wolverine, and Deadpool turns into a roguish fox. See you later. Thank you for joining. Ben. So I am on the lookout for mods. So anyone who joins regularly and helps to enforce the rules of the channel, the family friendly and the good vibes, I am considering for modhood. So I will add you to the list of consideration because I do need more mods. But so Deadpool is this fox, and apparently people are going nuts for Fox Deadpool. So I have a feeling with how popular furries are right now and Fox Deadpool that we're going to get some furry Marvel comics coming our way. Just a theory, but I think we're going to see it. I think we're going to see a lot of furry Marvel stuff with the positive reinforcement they're getting from furry Deadpool right now. I do have a job. Now that I know your opinion on Souls, how about the game Return to Moira? Have you ever played it? I did play Return to Moira. I played Return to Moira when it came out, so the game might be different now because they've been patching it and working on the game since, it came out. I played it when it first came out, and I wasn't like super impressed with the game, but here's the thing. I recognize, and a few people have criticized me for this, so it's certainly valid criticism, that some games are meant to be played with friends and are better as like a sit around with friends, have a good beer, and enjoy the game. And I was told that Return to Moira is a much better experience if you're just playing with friends and having a relaxed, enjoyable experience that way. As you can tell, because I am a streamer, I do not have friends, so I played the game through solo mode. And playing the game as solo was not an enjoyable experience. It was just kind of a boring, lackluster experience. So, is the game good? I definitely think it could be a good game, but playing it just solo by yourself was not a good experience. But I can see that the intended experience may not have been for solo players. It may have been a more intended experience to have with friends. So I concede that my opinion on it might not be the correct one because I did not experience it perhaps in the intended way. Are they going to put litter boxes in the classrooms of Xavier's school? We used to be a nation. They might already have to put one in there because now that Jeff the Shark is returning in popularity, I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot more Jeff the Shark in the comic books as well. I really liked Return to Moira, especially the dwarf ambiance and lore bits. I've always been a big fan of Lord of the Rings. You might have guessed it, the dwarves. We did also play the other Lord of the Rings game. We played Tales of the Shire, and that was also a horrible, horrible experience. If you have not played Tales of the Shire, I highly recommend not doing that. Do you hear that? He doesn't have friends. Let's blow this popsicle squad. I'm sorry, Bubble. I mean, I don't have friends that I play games with because my schedule is so weird. I never play games with other people because I'm always either at work or making videos or content. So when I say I don't play games with friends, that's what I mean. So I don't mean that there's no one I talk to that I don't consider friends. It's just my schedule is too busy to sit down and play games with other people, unfortunately. Imagine Beast using a litter box. I miss Beast. I feel like X-Men, we get it. You get Wolverine, you get Cyclops, you get Jean Grey. We get Rogue. Like, we've seen them. We get it. They're X-Men. Yes, they're cool. Iceman, we've seen them. Give us Beast. Give us Nightcrawler. Give us Jubilee. Give us some of the X-Men that we haven't seen in a while. I'm tired of Cyclops and Jean Grey. I want Nightcrawler. I want more Nightcrawler stuff. And it's not just because Nightcrawler is Catholic, but it is. If you didn't know, Nightcrawler is one of the prominent Catholic X-Men and is absolutely wonderful for it. But I want more Nightcrawler and X-Men. I'm tired of seeing Cyclops. I'm tired of seeing Jean Grey. I want the obscure X-Men, the ones who don't get nearly as much time. You know what I would also love to see? There is an absolutely fantastic Wolverine comic that is stuck as a comic that would be an absolutely brilliant short film. And what it is, I'm going to butcher this a little bit. So there is a boy who is discovered to be a mutant, and his mutant power is basically anyone who gets near him instantly dies. So he can't control his power, and Charles Xavier determines there's no way to fix his power, and so he sends Wolverine to kill this young boy because his mutant power is too strong and he's too dangerous to be left alive. And the whole comic is Wolverine sitting in this cave, drinking a beer with this boy, talking about life. And it is an absolutely moving and amazing comic. and they need to turn that into a short film ASAP. If you don't mind the question, where do you work? I cannot talk about my work, unfortunately, due to the sensitive nature of my work and due to the fact that I am openly Catholic on my stream. There is always the unfortunate chance that I lose my job if my work was to find out what I stream and what I do. So I cannot give details around it, unfortunately. No, I'm not a spy. This isn't like it's so secret that I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you sort of thing. It's just unfortunately the state of the world we live in right now, that there could be very real repercussions for me for being Catholic, and if my workplace were to find out. So that is just the reality we live in, and that is what I have to work with. So it shouldn't be that way, but it is. He's collecting for unemployment. I actually did for a while there. I used to work for Wells Fargo. I was a banker, if that gives you any insight. I used to work for Wells Fargo. For 14 years, I worked for Wells Fargo. And then one day I came into work and they said, we're laying you all off. And that was the first time I ever experienced a layoff in my adult life. 14 years of Wells Fargo. And then they just cut me loose. And that was truly an awful experience. But this is going to sound weird, but I'm glad I went through it. One, because I needed to escape that place, because Wells Fargo was absolutely awful for so many reasons. But two, because now I have a greater empathy for people who get laid off. I've lived it. I understand that fear of how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to pay for food? I understand that fear now on a much more human level. So I'm glad that God gave me the opportunity to go through a layoff so that I can understand the people who are struggling with that burden. Do Catholics not believe in video games? For the most part, Catholics believe in and enjoy video games. There is a very, very small but vocal sect of Catholics who are very anti-video game. There is one Catholic priest in particular, Father Rippiger, who is an exorcist, who says some pretty out there things. He's gone on record saying things like playing video games opens up portals for demons to possess you. But he's also said things like the spells in Harry Potter are real spells that were studied and are actual black magic. And he also says that if you watch horror movies, that demons will come out of your screen and possess you. So I don't necessarily value his opinions on video games. I don't think he is correct. So there are some vocal Catholics who are anti video game, but for the most part, most Catholics accept video games as, in moderation, it is a piece of art that you can enjoy. And like anything else, as long as it's not messing up with your duties to God and duties to your family, it is a perfectly acceptable form of leisure. What is happening behind you on your left? So this is a custom screen that I had made for my channel. And my whole motif is I have the Waffle Knight behind me. And obviously waffles are a big part of like my branding. So the Waffle Knight is in the background, and every now and then he reaches out and makes a waffle. And then some bees fly by to provide honey to put on the waffles. So that is what's going on behind me. The Waffle Knight is making waffles, and bees are providing us with some delicious honey for our waffles. And then below me, we have the Waffle Knight giving the Vault by thumbs up and wearing what I call my biggest mistake. I bought these because I thought, these kind of look cool. And I made a mistake. And let me tell you, the Pit Vipers are my biggest regret. They were not cool. I feel absolutely awful every time I wear these, but I bought them, so I can't let them go to waste. So here it is. You all can laugh at me and my absolutely horrible mistake of thinking that the Pit Vipers looked cool. So I decided to incorporate it as a funny piece of little art. This grand mistake I made by purchasing the Pit Viper glasses. Dr. Mad Respect. When I put on the Pit Vipers, we are not hell diving any longer. We are drip diving because y'all are jealous of the drip. I can feel it. I've also had some people suggest that way where I wear the Pit Vipers. It's like an alter ego. It's like the Green Goblin mask taking over. So I might work with that. That could be fun. Could definitely be fun to have the Pit Vipers be the anti waffles. Or maybe what I should do is when I share my terrible opinions, I should put on the Pit Vipers as like, you know how in nature, like really, really dangerous and venomous animals like wear really bright stripes and stuff to let people know that it's dangerous. Maybe before I share my stupid and horrible opinions, I should put on the Pit Vipers as like a warning, like, warning, the Pit Vipers are coming on. You are now about to be exposed to the worst opinions you have ever heard in your life. Maybe these should be like my Black Widow mark. Like people see like, oh no, we need to put on our earplugs because we're about ready to hear things about One Piece or Dark Souls or JoJo's or Dragon Ball Z. I can get behind that. See, that's what it should be. These should be my visual warning system that you're about to hear an absolutely nonsense opinion from the Waffle Man. So, Dr. Secondhand Disrespect. I like that one. I like that one too. All right. So since I'm wearing them now we have to give you an absolutely terrible, terrible opinion. So here it comes. You are now warned. Now you have warning. I am wearing these. I think that both Tom McDonald and Violent J, Insane Clown Posse, I think they are both better rappers than Eminem. Wait, what about Wild Animals? What did I miss about Wild Animals? So there's your terrible waffle opinion of the day. I could listen to 10 Tom McDonald songs. I could listen to a absolute gaggle of entire albums from ICP. I can barely stomach one Eminem song. Oh, you're a beekeeper. Okay. I could never keep bees because I'm terrified of bees, but my whole theme is bees. One day I am going to put together a cosplay. I really want to put together one of those medieval beekeeper costumes as like the wicker basket and like the friar robes. I definitely want to put together that cosplay someday. So I want to cosplay a beekeeper, but I'm never going to actually be a beekeeper. But I would love to have that cosplay. That's crazy work. That's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to musical opinions, Dex and Bubble can tell you I have the worst musical opinions. So let's rapid fire since we have a ton of new viewers. Let's rapid fire some of my terrible, terrible opinions since I'm wearing the glasses. The Beatles are the most overrated band in all of history. I don't deny that they had influential work, but there is no reason to go back and listen to the Beatles now. Their music, by every standard in modern day, is boring. Like listening to the Beatles is like going back and listening to like the 1930s music you see like in the black and white cartoons where the finger shake and the da ba da ba doo ba da ba doo. Like that is what listening to the Beatles is. It is painful. That being said, classical music, underrated. I could listen to Beethoven, Vivaldi, Bach. I could listen to any of those guys all day, but by far the Beatles are the most overrated band of all time. And that's by a long shot. By an absolute long shot. Another super unpopular opinion I shared at work yesterday. I think that Alien Ant Farm, when they did the cover of Smooth Criminal, I truly believe that Alien Ant Farm's Smooth Criminal is better than the Michael Jackson rendition of Alien Ant Farm. They did Smooth Criminal so much better than Michael Jackson. They truly own that song. Now, I'm not saying Michael Jackson's bad, although I do believe that some of his music is pretty overrated as well, but Alien Ant Farm just crushed that song. This is rage bait? No, that is the thing. This is not rage bait. This is just truly my unfiltered opinions. End this stream. We're not doing this. It's too late. I've donned the glasses. All right, Bubble. I have to go. It's unrelated to your opinions, but your opinions do make me want to go. I do have terrible opinions. Thank you for dropping by, Bubble. I'm sorry that I couldn't stream all this week because of a broken computer, but we are back. We will see you next time. Thanks for hanging out. As always, it is my pleasure to give you unfiltered access to the abomination that is my opinions. My terrible, terrible opinions. This is ridiculous. This is what, when people say, like, I thought this was America, I thought I have free speech. This is what free speech was invented for. Free speech was invented so I could come up here and tell you that the Beatles are overrated and the Alien Ant Farm is better than Michael Jackson. I don't feel like your opinions are bad, though. So that's the thing. My opinions, I think, fall into the category of Nickelback. And we've brought this up a few times. Nickelback is not actually that bad. Are they overhyped and overplayed? Maybe a little bit, but it became a meme on the internet to hate Nickelback. I truly don't think that many people hate Nickelback. I'm pretty sure it just became a meme. So I'm pretty sure that my opinions are like that. It's just a meme to hate my opinions, so people hate my opinions. They're not actually that bad. Controversial thought, Ben 10 can beat Goku. I've never seen Ben 10, but I've heard a lot of people talk about Ben 10. The thing about Goku, though, is my understanding is that nobody can beat Goku because the whole thing about Goku is supposed to be like, his whole shtick is that he loses a fight and then surpasses his limits to beat the fight. Like, the whole thing is that he can surpass any limit to overcome any fight. So that's why people say that you can't beat Goku, because his whole thing was to overcome any fight. Free speech was created to speak out against tyrannical governments without threat of retaliation. You're just saying stuff. I mean, I feel like I'm being retaliated against by comments, so it's sort of the same. That being said, yes, if Ben 10 can turn into aliens, technically Goku is an alien, so I would agree with that. I agree with you on your Nickelback take, but Alien Ant Farm take is insane and shouldn't be allowed on public platforms. You are not alone in that opinion, Mr. Monkey. There are quite a lot of people who believe my opinions should not be allowed on public forums, and yet here I am saying them every day. Here's another one I'll give you. This one's unpopular, but at least this one's not as wild. This one is not as wild, so this is a more mild take. I truly believe that Doom, the original Doom for PC that came out in 1993, I do believe that the original Doom is the most perfect game ever made. And it should be considered the best video game ever made, should be Doom 1993. Now, I could see contenders like Mario World. I can understand why you'd put Mario World on that list. I do believe Stardew Valley could be an argument for being on that list, but I just truly believe that the original Doom is the most perfect video game ever made. So that one's a little bit more mild of a wild take, but I definitely know that a lot of people disagree with that one as well. Bro hasn't played Goblin Punting Simulator. I think you should do a stream in full 15th century knight armor. I would love to have a full suit of armor. I do like cosplaying. I have a couple different. I have a Doom Guy helmet. I have a Helldivers helmet. I would love to do more cosplay. I simply can't afford them right now. I just dropped way too much money on a new bed. Someday I will get a full suit of Helldivers armor though, and I will get some Knight's armor. So we will cosplay at some point. We just can't afford it right now. Eventually though, it's on the list. Do you like history at all? If so, what's your favorite little part of history? I am a fan of history. I wouldn't say that I'm any sort of like history expert or history buff in any sort of way, shape, or form, but I do enjoy some some history here and there. So let's see. Favorite little tidbits of history, interesting little things that happen. Let's see. I think my favorite bits of history comes from a really fun meme with George Washington. And that is, there is at least some evidence that points to George Washington, you know, first president of the country, being a wizard. There is a documented case of where there was a navy coming in that was going to absolutely lose the war. Washington was in trouble. There was no way they were going to win. So George Washington went out to the banks of the river or the ocean to view this loss, because these boats were going to roll in. It was all over. They didn't have a navy to defeat this. It just simply wasn't going to happen. And he went out to the banks of the ocean and raised his arms and enrolled a fog. And the fog was so dense and thick that it caused all the ships to not be able to attack as was originally planned, and they won that battle that would have been a decisive loss that would have put an end to the war. So there is at least some credible evidence that George Washington was a wizard. Following up on that, they did make a couple different fun, like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and then there's like a dude bro version of George Washington with chainsaws fighting the British. If you haven't seen those are an absolute riot of shows. You should watch those as well. I'd have to disagree. Metal Gear Solid 3 on sheer replayability alone. I do absolutely love Metal Gear Solid 3. Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, and that is why I'm super hyped for Metal Gear Solid Delta coming out. We will be playing that on launch, and we will be playing that a whole lot. So I do love Metal Gear Solid 3. It is definitely a contender for one of the best games ever made. We will be playing it through, and my goal when playing through Metal Gear Solid 3 is going to be to experience all the Easter eggs, and I want to see what they changed, what they left in, what they put in, all that sort of thing. I want to see, like, can you still defeat the end by just falling asleep for 2 weeks? Did they take that out of the game? Did they put that in the game? I want to see what Easter eggs they left out or put in. Akdim, hello, welcome. My man is a level 19 fighter with 1 level in wizard. I love the weird and strange history like that. I'm also a big fan. Oh, we're dead. That was unfortunate. I love some of the saint stories go absolutely bonkers like that. Like if you look into some of the stories of saints, Saint Nicholas, of course, being the legend of Santa and all that. There is one of the traditions for Saint Nick is that he went to a town where there was a butcher who was kidnapping and killing children, and he was putting them into pickle barrels, and Saint Nicholas found the boys in the pickle barrel and basically revived the children from the pickle barrels, which is an absolutely bonkers story. So there's some crazy lore around some of the saints too, resurrecting the boys in the pickle barrel being one of the most notable ones, but there's plenty of other examples too. The saint stories, I love saint stories. I know everyone does saint stories. I know they're overdone. I know they're oversaid, but I love some of the just off the wall stories of the saints. I absolutely love a good, crazy saint story. We are getting overwhelmed here. Hopefully our reinforcements join soon, because we are getting overwhelmed very fast, which actually brings me my next challenge run for Helldivers. I was challenged to run a pacifist run in Helldivers, where we have to beat an entire map without firing a single weapon or using a stratagem. And I thought that sounded like an absolutely bonkers fun gameplay. So we are going to be trying a pacifist run of Helldivers 2 here soon, where we are going to try and beat an entire mission without firing a single bullet. Is it possible? I honestly don't even know if it's possible or doable, but we are going to attempt it. I love Spartan lore. I will agree with that if we're talking 300. Give me that over-the-top, ridiculous 300 Spartan lore, and I will eat that up all day, every day. I absolutely love the nonsense that is 300. 300 is the epitome of the mindless action movie, and one of my favorite things when 300 came out was all the dude bros who were coming out and saying, well, you know, it's a true story, right? You know, that actually happened. Like 300, they're trying, like, I don't deny that 300 was inspired by real events. I don't disagree with that. But if you're trying to tell me that 300 happened, like it's a historically accurate drama, you are out of your mind if you think that 300 is actually like 100% accurate to real life. Like, and I love that after it came out, how many of the dude bros were like, yeah, it's absolutely like, that's 100% true. That's exactly how it happened. It's just so ridiculous. So ridiculous. That being said, if they made another 300, I would watch it in a heartbeat. Though I'll be honest, so I go back and rewatch 300 because it's such a good movie. But like I skipped through it. Like who wants to listen to the 300 talking parts? Like 300 is about kicking a guy in a well, stabbing a wolf, and then piling up bodies, right? Like I don't need to watch the talking. Just give me the action. Is there a campaign to Helldivers? I barely know anything about it. Sort of. Yes, there is a main story to Helldivers, but it is constantly ongoing. So the story of Helldivers is told through major campaigns where the Helldivers are deployed places and we win or lose battles. So there is some lore and some stories. I will catch you up on it. But for the most part, there's not like a campaign mode or like a set story mode. So the campaign lore, to catch you up, the major events was we built these things called the TCS towers, the Terminated Control System. Basically, we use these bugs called Terminids that are basically the Tyranids from Warhammer. We use these bugs and we put them on a farm and we farm them for oil to fund our war machine. And they started getting out of control and breeding out of control. So we built these giant raid cans basically to spray cockroach spray on them to keep them in check and keep them in line. So we built these giant towers on a bunch of planets to keep them from pushing into our planets. And something went horribly wrong with the TCS towers, and it actually mutated them and caused brand new enemies to spawn, and it caused them to breed out of control and go absolutely bonkers. So we had to go deactivate the towers, but the planets were already ruined by having these towers in play. So we had to go deactivate the towers, but the damage was already done. And then basically we had to get rid of the planets. So we injected experimental void fusion technology into it. And we blew up a planet and turned it into a wormhole. And that's how the Illuminate found us, was because we were out destroying planets and turning them into wormholes. On the other side of the galaxy, there were the automatons. The automatons are the children of the enemies from the First War, who were the cyborgs. The cyborgs built the automatons to fight us, and we absolutely destroyed the automatons. We literally wiped them off the face of the galaxy. We pushed them out of the world, and we retook their home world of Cyberstan, which is their ancestral home with their creators, the cyborgs. They didn't like that, so they brought their full invasion force back to try and push us off of Cyberstan. And in that, we had Malevolent Creek. You'll have a bunch of old school Helldivers who will constantly tell you, remember the Creek. Malevolent Creek was one of the first major orders we ever had on the bot front. And basically, all of us green, fresh, new Helldivers were diving on the Creek for the first time. It did not realize that the robots had the ability to shoot back, because most of us had only done bugs at that point, and we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. And the entire planet was covered in like a fog and trees, and it basically became known as Space Vietnam. So you'll hear a bunch of divers talk about Remember the Creek. That is because that was our space Vietnam. We were pushed back. We were embarrassed. We lost millions and millions of lives. It was horrible. But we eventually did win. We pushed them back, and now here we are. So there's not like a whole lot of lore. There's a few major events like the TCS towers and the wormhole on Meridia. But for the most part, you're just going to get every day or every week, there's going to be new major orders, and you're getting the story through the major orders and the lore that's told through the community. Break Ankles, hello, welcome, good morning. I think that the real Battle of Thermopylae is really saddening, but it teaches a lot about sacrifice and brotherhood. When was the last time in modern history that a leader fought with his men? We actually do have a modern example. I'm pretty sure the whole situation with Ukraine right now isn't Zelensky out there fighting on the front lines with his men? I'm pretty sure Zelensky is out there with his men. So we do have at least some sort of modern example of that with our leaders. But I do agree that a lot of our who was Nico from what is it? Grand Theft Auto 4. Nico, I want to say Belmont, but I'm pretty sure Nico is not a Belmont. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong on that. But Nico from Grand Theft Auto 4, when he says that war is where the old and frail send the young and stupid to die, is very much a quote that lives in my head rent-free. I think about that quite a lot. So war is an absolute tragedy. And that is, so I actually have behind me somewhere, I have a Crusader helmet. And I bought that specifically because I was really ashamed of how many Catholics, and they tend to be the younger, more vocal Catholics, but you have these rad trad Catholic boys who go online and preach, we need another crusade. We need another war. We need a holy war. We need to crusade and destroy all these evil people. And you have these young kids who are out here preaching for war and death, and they truly don't understand what they're asking for. And it makes me sad. So I bought that helmet specifically to try and counter those videos that when I saw another warmongering Crusader 17-year-old explaining that war is not a good thing and calling for crusades and death and all those horrific things does not make you a good Catholic. It makes you horrible to wish this death upon people. Bellic. See, I knew it started with a B. It was Nico Bellic. Although, not gonna lie, Nico Belmont would go pretty hard. I would totally play Grand Theft Auto, but Castlevania. Like, I would totally play that. I would play the heck out of that. So give me Nico Belmont. Give me more Castlevania. I love Castlevania. We need more Castlevanias. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. Give me another Castlevania. I love the Netflix series. It kind of went off the rails, but the first and second season of the Netflix series was so good for Castlevania. Great writing, a lot of fun. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. The third season fourth season kind of lose their way and go a little too much Game of Thrones, where it's like, look, every 5 seconds there's nudity and sex. But the first 2 seasons, pretty darn good. I need to go play. What I need to do, I'm asking for another Castlevania game, but I've never played Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and I've heard that Symphony of the Night is considered to be like the best Castlevania of all time. So maybe before I ask for another Castlevania, I should go play Symphony of the Night. That being said, I hope with Grand Theft Auto 6, Nico was by far the best protagonist we've ever had in a Grand Theft Auto game, and I hope we get more story like Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto 6. Give me more of that. The Crusades rhetoric is so funny to me because historically the Crusades were mostly somewhat Pyrrhic defeats for the Catholics. The Crusades is a topic that I don't touch on very much because there's so much history and so much to it that I truly feel like to give it true justice, to talk about the entirety of the Crusades, the points of the Crusades and everything about the Crusades, you need a history degree and you need proper context. I don't have either of those things, So I just avoid talking about the topic as a whole because I simply am not the right person to go into depth on those things. Bro thinks he's Dr. Disrespect. I definitely do. I do not think I am Dr. Disrespect, and I have no want to be Dr. Disrespect. I am not a fan of Dr. Disrespect. So I bought these because I thought they were going to look cool, and I put them on and realized that I made a horrible mistake because they do not look cool. But I do not like to waste things, so I can't just throw them in the trash. So I wear them to own my mistake of buying these horrible glasses that look absolutely horrible on me. So it is not trying to be popular. It is not trying to be Dr. Disrespect. It is owning my embarrassing mistake and making some fun out of it. Because as humans, we should be okay with admitting our mistakes and having some fun with it. I, like all of us, am horribly flawed and have made my fair share of horrible mistakes in my life. And these glasses are definitely one of them. Of all the mistakes I've made in my life, these glasses are half of them. I'll put it that way. They are awful. Why won't these guys die? Come on. Come on. You're dead and you don't even know it. There we go. Holy cow. But no, I haven't heard very many good things about Dr. Disrespect. Like there was that whole that whole scandal. I don't know what's true or not, but I heard there was definitely some accusations against him. I don't know what came of those accusations, but I definitely know for a while that there were some big accusations made against him. And that's the unfortunate, like the whole downside to YouTube is that once you get famous enough, other people just want to use you to become famous too. So it just turns into like YouTube drama. Like the whole pirate software debacle where everyone's just making posts about pirate software to try and make money off the situation. It's really frustrating. Do you ever play with your fans on stream? I don't do a whole lot of fan streams. I've done it before. I don't mind playing Helldivers with y'all. It's just usually I can't stream this long because I usually have to go to work. I'm actually streaming longer than I usually would because I'd have to go to work by now. So usually I just don't have a whole lot of time to play. But I don't mind playing with other people. I do need to wrap it up here soon, though. My back's starting to hurt, which means it's time to get out of this chair and go do some chores and get started with my weekend. So the only kind of celebrity I am is celebrity in my former school and current college. There definitely is, no doubt, there is a price of fame. New to this channel, welcome in, Meiji. This is Helldivers 2. This is a player versus environment co-op experience where you helldive on planets and try and spread democracy to the creatures who do not know the meaning of freedom and democracy. It came out last year. It came out in February of 2024. It is truly an excellent game and is coming out on Xbox on August 26th. So if you haven't played it yet, I do believe it is on sale. It is worth playing. There are more than a few people who have definitely gotten thousands of gameplay hours out of the game. So if you like playing with other people, cooperative shooters, you will most likely love this game, and I cannot recommend it enough. It is a super fun game. And like I said, it's coming to Xbox here soon, so if you're an Xbox player, you too can join in the fun very soon. What days do you stream? I stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5 a.m. Pacific time. And then usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I release a long-form video to my channel. We either do game reviews, we do Helldivers, or whatever I'm feeling that week. I recently put up a video about Grimshire, which is a anti-cozy game. It is a cozy game that asks the question, what if in a cozy game your friends could die? Which is very anti-cozy, so we did that. And we will be doing a Army of Two review here soon. And hopefully next week we have Def Jam Fight for New York, the best PlayStation 2 game to ever come out. We have that game coming in the mail, so I will be doing a Def Jam replay, playing through that old great game here soon. All right, Ben, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Definitely give the game a try. You will not be sorry. I wish, if I could bring any game series back from the dead, I would without a doubt, in a heartbeat, pick Def Jam. Def Jam Fight for New York was such a ridiculous, stupid, but fun game. I would absolutely love if we got another Def Jam game, for sure. Isn't Star Citizen still in development? Nightmare is an unreleased sort of mess. Like, it's got a playable state, but they're also like, the game is in early access and they're legitimately selling like $500 DLC for a game that's still considered early alpha access. Like, that's why I think that it's possibly a scam, is because I don't think it's ever going to come to be. Thank you for hanging out, Ben. We'll see you next time. DJ was my ish. DJ, Def Jam was so good. And I loved number 3. Def Jam Icon was not very good. But I love the idea that they tried to introduce that you could put your own music into the game and fight with your own music. For fun, just to, when I played that game with other people, I uploaded to my Xbox, She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy, and that was my character's fighting song. So that when I played against other people, I would troll them by making them fight my fighter dancing to She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy. I thought that was hilarious and fun, so that was what I did so much. Yes, hopefully you can join on Monday. I know my streaming time is weird. It's early in the morning for me because I stream before I go to work. Basically, my schedule is I get up somewhere around 3 or 4, sometimes 5 a.m., and then I stream for 2 hours, and then I go to work for 10 hours, and then it's dinner and bedtime. And I do that for 4 days a week. And on the weekends, I spend time with my wife. We go and do like photography. We go adventuring, and then we do all the adult chores. You know, you got to go pick up groceries and do the laundry. So my days are packed, which is why I typically don't play a lot of games with other people because I'm just so busy all the time. But it's worth it. I enjoy streaming. Not having access to my PC for a week while I was waiting for it to be fixed in the shop made me realize how much I just really do enjoy streaming for the fun of it. Not for money, not for fame, not for fortune, because I definitely don't get any of that. It was just simply enjoy it for love of streaming. It truly is just a passion. A equals 6 p.m. for you, making it easy to catch your stream. That is why I looked at my demographics. So obviously I still have a lot of viewers in the United States, but I also have a ton of viewers from like India, Ireland, all over the world. Really, we get a lot of viewers from all over the world because of the time I stream. We're more of like an international stream than just a USA stream, which I always think is kind of cool. It's really cool to see people from coming all over the world. So that's always really awesome. You are a troll. I am a troll in recovery. I used to be a troll. I am getting better. I no longer troll, but yes, I used to be a pretty notorious internet troll. You're around 12 a.m. for you. That is super early in the morning. I remember when I was young and could stay up to see 12 a.m. I am no longer young enough to see 12 a.m. I am in bed by 8:30 p.m. I am that kind of old person that my bedtime is 8 o'clock. And you know what? I love it. I do not mind having a bedtime at 8 o'clock. I feel so much better being on a schedule of going to bed at 8 a.m. and waking up at 3 a.m. Like, I no longer wish to be a teenager who goes to bed at 3 in the morning and wakes up at 3 in the afternoon. I'm not a troll, but I'm too skeptical for my own good. There's nothing wrong with being a healthy skeptic. We are not critical of healthy skepticism. We appreciate a good, healthy skepticism here. We don't have the tools to destroy this guy, so that is not good. Age is just a mindset. I have been 60 years old since I've been 13. I have always been an old man at heart. That is fundamentally my problem, is that when I remember vividly when I was in the 4th grade, which is what, like 8 years old, we had to do this thing where we had to put down, where do you think you'll be at age 22? Like, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do with your life when you're age 22? Like, what is your dream? And I put down that I want to be married, have 2 kids, and be the CEO of a large company. Like, I have always been an old man at heart. Like, most kids were putting down dreams out there. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a firefighter. I want to be, all these. I want to be a movie star, a rock star. Nope. I want to be a hardworking CEO with kids and a family. So I have always been old at heart. I was diagnosed old at heart. And I wouldn't trade it for anything, because being old at heart, we've talked about this before also. There's some luck, there's some skill involved. I was lucky and not lucky enough to buy a house when I was 22 years old. And as you know, there's kind of a whole housing crisis ongoing currently. A lot of people aren't able to afford a home. So by being an old man at heart and not going out and partying and just saving all of my money in retirement and being a boring old man who focused on my career at the age of 18, I was able to buy a house when I turned 20. Actually, I think it was around 2021. I bought a house, and that has been such a huge investment and wonderful thing for my family because, as you know, it's really hard to buy a house right now. So it was worth it. It was worth being an old man at heart. Yes, I missed out on some things, but also I got some things that a lot of people also don't have in their life. So I talk about part of his luck. Definitely there was a luck angle to it, a time angle, but it was also a lot of sacrifice. All right, dude, you can have your warp pack. There you go. Warp pack for you. The man is both older than me and younger than me. I blame my dad for it. My dad, wonderful man, taught me lots of great things. He was very much like, why waste being 18 on going out and partying when you could be saving into your retirement? A very Hank Hill thing. Like, what could be more satisfying than putting your paycheck into your retirement so that it grows, so that in 60 years you can retire? Doesn't that sound way cooler than going to the club, Bobby? And he was right. He was definitely right. It is much cooler to be able to sit in my own home on a Friday night than it is to go down to a club. So go figure. Sometimes our parents are right. All right. This last guy needs to go in there. Perfect. And here we go. My back's about the same. I'm 19, but I like to think of myself as ageless beast from the shadows, which also means I have the physical build of one. My back is in a perpetual state of absolute nightmarish pain. Back pain. So my father also had back pain. And I learned back pain is one of those things you don't wish upon your worst enemies, because there's just basically nothing you can do from it. There are some surgeries some people can get, but for the most part, it seems like doctors are just like, yep, you have back pain. Learn to live with it. And that is just... that is their solution, is live with it and take some ibuprofen. And that is awful. That is truly awful. And I know a thing or two about pain. When we were talking about my hernia, I know a thing or two about pain, but back pain, and I get it. This is how I know that I'm old. I've been sitting in this chair for 2 hours and my back is starting to hurt too. And it's like, my back is telling me, get up and go do some laundry and wash some dishes. Get out of this chair. And I never understood, when I was a young and dumb teenager, I was definitely on the, let's sit for 20 hours and play video games. Now it's let's sit for 2 hours and play video games and then go for a long walk because I cannot sit for that long. It's because of my height and more recently because of my job. It is, let me tell you for certain, you probably all already know this, but I'm going to say it. No job is worth ruining your back for. No job is worth sacrificing your body for. That is a fact that everyone needs to learn. When I worked for the grocery store as a 16-year-old, I was young and dumb, and I would do anything for a paycheck. And they used to have these big glass bins that weighed about 200 pounds, and you'd have to lift them over your head to throw them in the recycling bin. And I would do that by myself all the time because that's what we had to do. And I really wish I would not have hurt my body for a minimum wage job. I super regret that. 198 centimeters. I'm sorry, Abyss Walker. No one knows what you're talking about. We use inches in this stream. Let me see if actually I can convert this. 198 centimeters is basically 200 centimeters. There's 2.2 inches, 2.2 inches to 2.2 centimeters to an inch, which means you are 200 centimeters divided by 2 would be 100. Carry the 0.2. You are 6'5". Someone put it in a calculator and tell me I'm right. Okay, Google. Convert 198 centimeters to inches. $77 inches, which makes, let's see, so 12 inches in a foot. So that means 5 foot is 60 inches. So 72 inches is 6 foot. That leaves us with a leftover of 5 inches. Yeah, 6'5". Ha! Look at that. Look at that. I did quick maths in my head. Be impressed at my useless skill of being able to convert centimeters into feet. Bow to the prowess of my worthless life skill of converting inches to centimeters. He's about 1/10 of a football field. I would love if we switched to the metric system. I definitely feel like America would be a lot better off if we switched to the metric system. Definitely agree with that. If you bow to Celsius, here's the thing that I hate about Celsius. I don't disagree that Celsius is more accurate and a better system. But it's always so mind-boggling to me when you hear some British person be like, oh, it's an absolute squelcher today. It's 40 degrees. It doesn't sound impressive, right? When you hear that it's 110 degrees Fahrenheit, you're like, holy cow, that's hot. When you hear that it's 40 degrees Celsius, you're just like, that's nothing. Well, it's just not impressive. Maybe it's my dumb American brain, but if I'm going to use a system, I want impressive numbers. 40 degrees is not impressive. 100 degrees is impressive. So, like, give me the big numbers. Big numbers mean better. That is the universal truth of America. The bigger the number, the better it is. Therefore, Fahrenheit is superior for bigger numbers. That being said, I hope that we never, ever, ever get 100-degree days again. I am ready for the cool fall weather. Use Kelvin then. Yeah, Kelvin's a whole other mess. See, this summer it was around 35 degrees Celsius in Sweden. Like, what? 35 degrees Celsius? That sounds like nothing. 35 degrees, what is that? Nobody knows. But if you convert that, see, 35 degrees, that's what? That's about 90 degrees, I think. Somewhere in there. Like, that sounds way more impressive. Okay, Google. How hot is 35 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit? $95 degrees. I hit it on the spot. Holy cow. This is the moment where I think I have to ask myself the big questions, though. I was just able to convert centimeters and Fahrenheit with deadly accuracy in my brain. So I'm forced now to ask myself, am I autistic? Like, is that a little bit of autism? Like, should I be concerned about that? That's I'm on a winning streak. I am on a winning streak. Is there call for alarm? They might need to let you into my old school's advanced math program. Quick maths. Also, no, not really a concern. I am fairly confident that I am on the spectrum, if for no other reason, because that is literally what a spectrum means, right? If it's a spectrum, then everyone must be on the spectrum in some way, shape, or form. I'm fairly certain I'm somewhere on there, but not enough that I need to go get like diagnosed. Like, it doesn't impact my life in that way. But there's some signs. There's some signs. So, you know, I'm not overly concerned with it. Get us out of here. That advanced program was a nightmare. By the end of a standard 3-hour, 80-mark exam, my answer booklet looked like an alchemical manual. Okay, we're going to talk about alchemy for a moment here, because I always think this is so funny when we talk about... There are the occultists who are deep into alchemy, who are still concerned with the alchemical chart and believe that the key to the universe lies in alchemy. But if you look at like the actual real life alchemists who are out there like smearing urine on things and drinking urine or mixing sulfur with urine, like, don't get me wrong, they had a foundation for science and they did contribute to the world, but I don't think ancient alchemy is the key to eternal knowledge when you look at how much of it was just try smearing urine on it or put sulfur under your pillow. Like, I don't think ancient alchemical arts is the key to all knowledge. We still have alchemy, it's just called chemistry. I tell you what, if chemistry was ran like Full Metal Alchemist, where you got a cool title, we would have a whole lot more chemists. If when you got your doctorate in chemistry, they came up and said, congratulations, you're now the Full Metal Chemist, or you're now the Iron-Blooded Chemist, I guarantee we would see a spike of 20% more people in chemistry if you got a cool title like that. I'm curious of your overall knowledge. Can you name 4 things that Sweden has invented? Sweden has invented the Swedish fish. The lutefisk thing, where you take the fish and cover it in dye and you bury it on the beach and you eat that rotted lie carcass. They had invented Celsius. Sweden also, I believe, invented IKEA. 4 things Sweden has invented. Am I right? Am I right? You know I'm right. Gotta be absolutely right. You get an A plus in Swedish knowledge. Celsius, the 3-point safety belt, dynamite, and pacemaker, and 3-phase electrical, and Spotify. Sweden out here contributing a lot. All right, guys, my voice is starting to go because I've been talking too much. I'm out of water. My back hurts. So we are going to end the live stream now. Thank you, everyone, for making this one of the best streams I've had. We were over 100 viewers for a lot of my stream today, which was just bonkers cool. So thank you, everyone. As always, we are going to end with our prayer. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Lord, thank you for this blessed day. Thank you for all that you do for us. We continue to pray for all the people who are victims of war today, all the people who are suffering because of starvation, because of medical needs, because of separation from family, because of death, all the things that come with war. Lord, help to bring an end to it. We pray for our world leaders that they may make better decisions for our world and lead us towards a peaceful and prosperous future. We pray for all the people who have run away from home, all the people who are lost, all the people who don't have a home. Lord, help them. We especially pray for those who don't have food, those who are starving. Lord, help them. We pray for those who are suffering from depression or other mental illnesses. Lord, help them. And finally, as always, we pray for the souls in purgatory, the souls who've been forgotten, the souls who have no one left to pray for them. Lord, help them. All this we pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, everyone, that is it for me. Again, thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me this morning. It was wonderful. I'm going to try and have a new video on the channel tomorrow, so there should be more waffles for you tomorrow morning. After that, we will have more waffles on Monday for sure. We also have a holiday coming up, so get ready for a long weekend and special stream for that. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed day, and we will see you again soon.